All right, dropping in to the 5th day of the 44-day challenge where we review a book every day for 44 days on how to sell a business and get that information out of these books and to you so you can use it to increase the chances of a successful sale of your company. Today's book review is on a book written by David C. Barnett, How to Sell My Business, a guide to selling your own business privately and not paying a broker's commission. Interestingly enough, David is a former business broker and has now maybe turned to the dark side, I don't know, and started consulting and talking to people about how to do the process on their own so they can avoid 10 and 12% commission fees. What we do in each episode of the 44-day challenge is we take 3 knowledge nuggets, pull them out of the book, find the 2 best quotes, and do the book's largest takeaway. So today we're starting with a knowledge nugget of the top 3 things buyers are looking for. Number 1, buyers are looking for a salary that can support themselves and their family and keep a high standard and quality of life. They want to ensure there's enough cash flow coming out of the company that they can pay themselves well. Number 2, they want to ensure there's enough cash flow also coming out of the business to cover all their debt service for the financing they've taken on to acquire the company. Number 3 is they want to make sure whatever money they use to put into that business, they're going to get a decent return on. And we're not talking about 2, 5, 10%. It's got to be higher than that because businesses are risky, so they're likely looking for 20% and upwards. Knowledge nugget number 2 from David Barnett, and now this is starting to get repetitive and we're only on day 5, is you've got to properly price your company. If you don't do that, you're not going to attract buyers, there's no way, and you're not going to have a successful sale. Our third big knowledge nugget is quite interesting because David Barnett says it's the number 1 question that he gets from sellers when they go to sell their company, and that is, how long is it going to take to sell my business? His answer is quite interesting because he says it all depends on the terms. The terms of your deal are more critical than anything in the length of time to sell your company. Terms such as vendor take back, how much cash are you willing to hold on behalf of the buyer? Or how long are you willing to stay in the business to help transition the business to the new buyer? Or what price are you willing to take? Because that's a term as well. Your terms affect the time it takes to sell your company. Moving forward to the quote section of our program, I figured since this whole book revolves around selling your business by yourself, there's a list of things that you need to remember to make sure that your business sale is successful. And they go as follows. Number 1, having an accurate understanding of what you're selling. Number 2, have an idea of who might be in the market for your type of business. Number 3, understanding the buyer is your customer and that your business is now your product. Number 4, understanding what problems your business will solve for the buyer. Number 5, ensuring the product is kept safe during the whole process. This is about confidentiality. And number 6, have a realistic expectation of what the final deal will look like so you don't miss out on a good deal because you're inflexible. Our second quote is also interesting as David talks about how long a buyer is willing to work to get their initial investment back. This is a question that often arises. Small businesses with an EBITDA under $500,000 are usually valued on the basis of multiple of seller discretionary earnings. So how many years will a buyer want to work so that his salary and net profit recoup his initial investment? This is usually between 2 and 3 years. So you can expect a buyer to work for 2 to 3 years, but no longer to pay back their initial investment. So if their initial investment is say $200,000 and they're making $100,000 a year out of the business, there you are, 2 years that they'll work for. But they aren't likely going to be paying more than $300,000 for that business because it's just going to take too long for them to get their return. And lastly, our biggest takeaway out of How to Sell My Business, a guide to selling your own business privately and not paying a broker's commission, is you can sell your business privately without a broker, but you definitely want to have a great advisory team behind you. And it's still a good idea to have an intermediary on that team so you can ask them questions that you don't have the answers to. Thanks for tuning in to day 5 of the 44-day challenge, and we'll see you tomorrow on day 6 when we review a book from an accountant who's been in the industry for 30 years with mergers and acquisitions. All right, follow us on all our feeds below. We'll see you tomorrow.